introduce you to a family who's amazed with Jesus and His majesty, raising our daughter in reality. And there's no other place that we'd rather be. Through the fun and the snuggles, the cries and the struggles, praising God through the good and the troubles. This is life on the real, not made up. Now we welcome you to Life with Zayla.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jennifer. If you're new, consider subscribing so you don't miss any of my videos. I do mommy videos, lifestyle, beauty, unboxing. So if that's kind of your jam or you like it, make sure you subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, welcome back to the fam. I know it's been a good hot minute, but here I am again, and I'm so excited to talk to you guys and just share this journey. If you want to hear about my labor and delivery, just stay tuned. All right guys, so as you guys saw from the thumbnail, epidural failed. It was so bad. I don't even know where to start, and I just want to first of all say thank you so much for being so patient with me putting this video out. I know I went on stories on my Instagram just letting you guys know that I was gonna be a while just because I had to recover. There was a lot going on. It was just crazy, and I got so much love and so much support, feedback, that I just want to say, you guys, thank you so much. And if you're not following me on Instagram, make sure you do. It's always linked on the description box. It's Life with Zayla. Make sure you follow me, because that's where I just, you know, kind of kept my updates, just kind of let you guys know that I'm still here and still alive, I guess. But I just needed some time to just breathe and recuperate. So I started to have contractions probably, I'm gonna say, she was born on August 1st, which, side note, it's my husband's birthday as well, so they will forever share a birthday. And my birthday is actually July 29, and I actually thought she could be born on my birthday, which was a Wednesday, but she wasn't. She was born on August 1st, which was my husband's birthday, so that's so cool. And he totally loves the fact that he's gonna share a birthday with her, so that's pretty cool. So I started to have contractions probably that Thursday that week. So the first was Saturday, so I'm gonna say the Thursday was the 30th, right? 30th, I think. Hopefully my mind is not escaping me. The 30th, which was a Thursday, and I thought, like, I was starting to have contractions. They weren't super close together, but they were there, and I felt one that was pretty bad, and I was like, whoa, this is bad. But nothing, like I said, nothing like close together. You know how you're supposed to have them like every 5 minutes? No, I'm sorry, yeah, every 5 to 4 minutes, mostly 4 minutes, and like a minute or longer. So I had none of that, but I was like, okay, this is different. Then that night, I didn't sleep too well. Honestly, I slept pretty bad, like towards the end of my pregnancy, just because I was so big. And as you guys know, if you had kids before, if you've been pregnant before, your sleep just leaves you, and you're just up like a zombie. And it's like 2, 3 in the morning, and you're just like, okay, you're just up. So that Friday, I think, what was it? It was probably like around 6 a.m. and I started to have contractions, and they were getting closer together. Not close together enough that I thought that I needed to go to the hospital. Mind you, I was trying to labor at home as much as I could, because I did not want to be stuck in the hospital for a long period of time, and then you're just stuck to the bed. And because of COVID, they don't even let you walk anymore, like around the hospital and stuff like that. So I was trying to do the majority of my labor at home. Keep that in mind. So I started to have contractions. My husband was gonna go to work, you know, as usual. I think he had plans after work to kind of get a haircut in before, you know, because I was getting, my due date was the 1st, which I had to be at the 1st. Anyways, and because she was getting really big, I actually had a scheduled induction on Saturday, which was the 1st. So he was just trying to, you know, squeeze that in. And I remember I started to have contractions. They were closer together, and I started timing them, and then I started telling my husband. But for some reason, I felt like I wasn't timing them the right way. I don't know how you can mess up timing contractions, but I just felt like I wasn't timing them right. And I was like, told my husband, I'm like, you need to time them for me, because I feel like I'm forgetting. And I was kind of writing on the phone. It was just crazy. And I was very, very, very uncomfortable. Keep that in mind. Really didn't sleep maybe an hour, maybe 2 at most. And then so I was having contractions, and they were getting, as time went, they were getting closer to where it did come every 5 to 4 minutes. And my husband was like, you know what, I think I'm not gonna go to work because it seems like your contractions are getting closer together, and he just doesn't want to be at work. And then so I think he called in that he wasn't gonna be at work. And then also I think he told me, what, you should call your mom, because obviously I have another daughter who's gonna be 2 so soon, like less than a month. Side note, yes, I do a lot of that, sorry. And to come and take care of Zayla, that's her name if you're new. And so so I'm like, you know what, let's just wait, because I don't want to go in too soon and then they're gonna send me back and I'm gonna get pissed, because you ain't trying to do all that when you're starting to have contractions, and you just ain't trying to do all that. At least I ain't trying to do all that. So I was like, let's just wait a little bit. And I started having them and I was like, whoa, this is not fun. And then I think around 7:30ish, they started slowing down a little bit. And I was like, okay, and I was like, okay, well, maybe it'll be later on tonight or even tomorrow. But my husband, I did hear that because he stepped out of the room, and I heard that he was talking to one of his sisters, who had babies before, and she's like such a pro and when it comes to like baby stuff and delivery stuff. So I think he kind of told her just to keep an eye on it. I think something along those lines. And if I walked, that helped, but I wasn't trying to get up, honestly. I just didn't feel like I wanted to move. So I think around 8 o'clock they started getting crazy again, and like starting to getting close together again. And I was like, you know what, let's just call my mom. It's just be better, just have her here already. So I think I was starting to have a contraction and I was like, you call her, you talk to her, let me focus. So he did, and he called my mom. And my mom, she's so cute, she got like all like nervous but excited. And I think my sister also came with her because it was on a Friday, she's usually off Fridays. So it was both of them that they got here. And I think they called her and told my husband, called her and told her. And then she gave me the phone because I wanted to tell her like, okay mom, but don't rush, because it's still a long ways. I'm barely starting. I had contractions, I explained to her earlier, but then died down. Now they're getting back again, so don't like super rush. She's maybe like 20 minutes away, 20-25 minutes away. So I told her, just take your time, like don't worry about it. And yeah, so kind of left it at that. So she was gonna get home, Zayla was still sleeping, and I was trying to like just breathe through the contractions, trying to figure out when to go get checked. So they get here, and my mom, she's like, how are you feeling, are you okay? And I was like, oh, I've been in contractions. So she started tying them on a paper for me, and she's like, Jennifer, like they're looking 4 minutes apart. You even had like some 3 minutes apart. Maybe you should just go, just to make sure, just get checked. And I was like, no, I feel like I could wait. Like I said, I was trying to not go in so early because I was not trying to be there forever. And then I started to feel like I was just tense, because it was hurting. I was not feeling good. And Jose and my mom kept telling me, just go. And I was like, I don't just want to go in to go check. Like if you're not ready, they're gonna send you back home. I feel especially now. So around 9 o'clock, they started getting even worse. 9 o'clock in the morning. And I remember my mom, she hadn't even stopped to get like breakfast or Starbucks or anything. She just came straight home. And so my sister went ahead and went to go get that. I think I got like something very lightly to eat, because I wasn't hungry. But then I was like, but then they're gonna starve me. So I wanted to get something in, but I think I just had something like a bagel and like a cheese Danish, I think, in an orange juice. That's probably everything that I had. And then like around 9 o'clock, like I was saying, Jose calls the hospital, I'm sorry. He calls the hospital and asks to talk to one of the labor and delivery nurses, kind of tells them how I'm doing. And she suggests that, the only way to know is for them to check me, so I could go in, kind of see where I'm at, give me an idea. And she told her, if she's not at the point where she's not close, but she's not at the point where we like put her in a room, then we're gonna send her back. And I was like, oh. So I was still trying to figure out if I should go or not. And I still had contractions, and this time they were 4 minutes apart. Like they were just 4 minutes apart. and I was like, whoa, I thought that was a little painful. Did not know what was coming. So I'm like, by 9:30, I'm like, okay, fine, let's just go. You know, they're probably gonna send me back and it's just not gonna be good, but whatever. So I get all my stuff, like if I'm gonna stay there, and on my way, I think my husband might still have the clip of like as we're on our way. You could tell by my face that I'm not, like, it's not good, you know. I'm just like in pain, and I'm just like, if they send us back, it's not gonna be good. I'm gonna be mad. Poor him, like he had to like endure me in that little moment. If he still has it, I'll make sure to like insert it right now, and if not, sorry guys, but this is how pretty much it went down. So we get there, and you know, they you know, we had to kind of wait for the nurse to come out, because you know, you go through the main hospital and then they send you to the labor and delivery area, and then there's like a door where you have to like kind of push a button, and it's somebody tells you, okay, a nurse will be out, like an intercom thing, and you know, you can't go in unless they open the door for you. So we were sitting and waiting, and I was just like, wow, this is crazy. And I was just like, okay, what's going on? And my husband was like, how are you feeling? And I was like, I think by then I still had contractions, but I think they weren't as bad or as constant, at least not that I remember. And so we go ahead, you know, a little bit of time passed. We actually waited a while. The nurse comes, you know, they do what they have to do. They check you and everything like that. And they tell me that, you know, that I'm gonna stay. So there I am. And so I'm there, and like I told you guys in, I think it was one of my last videos, what I shared, what I was bringing to the hospital for the baby girl's diaper bag or backpack. I remember, I think I told you guys that I wasn't going to be able to record because my doctor was not allowing it. So I was trying to get clips in of just when I was by myself in the room with Jose, and just kind of letting you guys know where I was at. But I couldn't get a lot of clips because I went into labor, of course, and they did put Pitocin on just to speed things up. I think I was already a 3.5, and then time passed, and they were like, you know what, let's just put Pitocin so we could speed things up. But what ended up happening is like my water broke very shortly after I got there. And this is the first time my water breaks. Usually they break it for me. Like, well, I only had one more labor and delivery experience with Zayla, and they broke it for me. But this thing came out by itself, and I ended up getting an infection because of that. I don't know what happened in there, but basically I ended up getting an infection. So I started getting a fever, and with that, because I got a fever, they were giving me Tylenol, and they were trying to speed things up so the baby could get out. And not only that, but she had pooped inside there because of the water. You know, as you keep leaking, or I don't know if you guys know, but you keep leaking. It's not like it comes out and you're done. It's like it leaks still. And I noticed once when I went to the restroom that it was green, and that usually means that the baby had pooped. So that's another thing that's not good, because you know, they could I think they could like sniff it in or something like that, or swallow it. I'm not 100% sure, but basically they couldn't take it, and that could cause an infection. So I already had one, so they're trying to get her out, and that's why they did Pitocin. And then they asked me if I wanted the epidural. I said yes, and I had to wait until the bag of IVs went, like they finished, before I got the epidural. I think I was still 3.5, close to a 4, very close to a 4. I remember the last time she checked me. So because I remember when I went, I'm like, can I get the epidural? And they said, well, we have to wait a little bit and all this stuff. So she told me, yes, you can get it, but you have to finish the bags of IV. You have to finish those, and then we can call the anesthesias in, and they could do all that. So I was like, oh great. So that whole thing happened, and then it was a lady this time, came in, and you know, they kind of prep you for getting your epidural, you know, you sit up and the nurse kind of holds your shoulder, kind of give you a pillow. I remember with Zayla, when I got the epidural, it was a gentleman and it didn't hurt at all. Like I felt absolutely nothing. And this time around, I felt a pinch. Well, it wasn't bad, but it did hurt. You know, you kind of like squirm a little bit and you can't move. So I was trying to not move, but you know, I felt something. And so they went ahead and did it, and I went ahead and laid down, and I didn't feel it as fast as I did the first time. You know, as everything started to get numb, you know, the nurse kind of asks you, hey, how are you feeling? And then they kind of switch you to sides, so one side doesn't get too much of it versus the other side. So they were doing that, and then I finally remember feeling like, okay, I feel numb already. I didn't feel like the pain anymore. So I was like, okay, you know, good, you know, it's gonna be okay. Then they go ahead and put the catheter in, you know, for you to go to the bathroom, because obviously you don't feel it, you can't get up because you're numb. And you know, they're trying to have me progress, and you know, the nurse is telling me I don't really want to be checking you because you got a fever, you know, it seems like you got an infection. And so that happens, and I don't know how much time went from that point to the point I'm about to tell you, where I started feeling contractions again. Because honestly, I lose track of time. I know there's a clock right in front of you in a way, but I don't really stare at the clock. Like this time around, I remember Jose, he even put the TV on. Like with Zayla, we didn't do none of that, but he was, you know, he was trying to watch something. I think he was watching some type of basketball thing, and I was just trying, you know, to rest. And yeah, I remember I wanted to eat, but obviously you can't. So I was getting some ice chips in me, and I remember that I was, you know, I just started to lay down, and then they put the oxygen thing on me, just, you know, so everything baby could get oxygen. Not that she wasn't getting any, but they just told me, you know, just go ahead, we're just gonna put it on. And then I started to, so I was laying down and I was trying to rest, because I knew that obviously, you know, when it came down to push, I needed all my energy. I remember I started feeling pain. And at first it wasn't too bad, so I was like, okay, you know, I can handle it. But it started increasing, and I was like, whoa, this is painful. Why am I feeling this? So I went ahead and I told the nurse came in, you know, because they come in, they kind of look at how you're doing, your IVs, and they kind of see if you need anything. And then I told her, you know what, I'm feeling pain. And they're like, is it pressure? I'm like, no, I don't think it's pressure, because I remember feeling pressure with Zayla, and that was like a sensation like you have to go to the bathroom. This is actually pain, like it's painful, and it's, you know, it was right in the front of my stomach. So she was like, well, maybe it's pressure, let's just, you know, wait a while. And I was like, I don't think this is pressure. So I was like, fine. And then it started to get worse, and I was like, this is not pressure. So I told Jose, call the nurse for me, I need them to this epidural and work. And then they get, you know, as you have your epidural, there's a little thing that you can click on and it gives you more. I was clicking thing, and I know it's every 20 minutes, like you could touch it all day, but you only get them every 20 minutes, I think. And I didn't feel much relief, like in the beginning a little bit, but then I was like, you know, the pain is getting worse and this doesn't help me. So I told the nurse, you know what, can you call the lady back in, like something is not right, I'm feeling a lot of pain, like it's getting worse. And then I think she saw how I was not, like I was in pain. She actually called her and told her, and then she said she will be here shortly, and the pain was increasing. I was like, when is this girl coming? Like it was not good. It was painful, and I was just not, like, it was just kept getting worse, like worse and worse. And then finally the anesthesia, oh man, I can't pronounce this, came in, and she brought this big old tube, and she's like, oh, you know, you're feeling pain? I'm like, yes, I am feeling pain. And then she's like, oh, are you sure it's not pressure? I'm like, no, I know what pressure feels like, it's not pressure. And so she came, and with that big old, it kind of looks like a huge needle, but she put something inside my IV, you know, the little thing where the epidural is, and she's like, you should start feeling better like in 10 minutes. And I think maybe slowly I started to feel like numb again. But guys, I'm not lying to you, it only lasted about maybe 10 minutes, and then it got crazy. So when that happened, I was trying to eat ice chips, and then I was laying down, and then I started to shake. Mind you, I never shook with Zayla. Now I heard that there's women that do shake. I've never shooken, and I got just freaked out because my body just shook uncontrollably. Like, you can't stop it. Like, I was trying to not shake, like mentally, I guess, and I couldn't stop shaking. Like, it was shaking that the little sidebars that you can kind of hold on to, like to scoot up, or if you push, I don't know, that shook. And my husband, you could tell from his face that he was concerned. He didn't understand why I was shaking this bad. The nurse came in and he was like, why is she like that? And he's like, oh, it's, you know, sometimes it's, you know, her hormones, epidural. But it got pretty crazy. Like, I remember he would ask me, you know, do you need a blanket, or do you know, what can I do for you? And I couldn't even really talk to him because I was just shaking that bad. So I remember I just started praying. I was like, Lord, am I gonna die here? Please. Like, I have a little girl still, and I have a daughter. What's gonna, you know, I remember just thinking on these crazy things. And then I remember that the nurses came inside, and they noticed that the baby's heartbeat was very high, and so was mine. And then they saw that I was burning. I guess I got my fever had gone up. I think it went down, and then it got really high. I mean, to this day, I don't know how high it got. I never asked, I forgot. But they took all the blankets off. They were trying to move me around to see if that helped the heartbeat. The little monitor that they put on your stomach for contractions and heartbeat, I believe it is, that wasn't working, so they had to put one internally. Yes, and thank the Lord. Did I feel something? Did it hurt? I don't remember it hurting, but that part is kind of blurred to me because I was just, like I said, I was shaking uncontrollably. And you know, they were trying to give me Tylenol, and I couldn't even get the Tylenol, you know, because they kind of bring in a cup thing, put it in your hand, because my hands were just like crazy. And you know, they also put like the little thing for your finger to kind of see, I think it's your pulse or your like blood pressure or something like that. Like, that thing fell off, and the girl couldn't even put it on me. So she told me, the nurse told me this later, but she had to end up putting it on my toe, because I guess that's how bad I was shaking. Not only that, but the fever was, I guess it was concerning, because it was not good. I had more than one nurse. I think I had like 3, and not that they looked worried, but they were just moving fast, and that's never a good sign. So, but like I said, I was kind of like, not that I wasn't there, but I was just very concerned of my shaking. And then you know, so my fever was just going very crazy. So they were like, you know what, let's see how much you're dilated. And I think I was probably like a 6.5, and I wasn't progressing, because I think I had been a 6 a couple hours before. So there was like, you know what, we might have to do a C-section and just take the baby out, because it seems like when both heart rates are high, then there's an infection, and she caught an infection. So when I heard that, I was like, oh my gosh, like, Lord, I just remember thinking, just please protect us. Like, that's mainly what I remember. I was like, please don't let me die here. Like, I have daughters, you know. So they left, and then they came back in, and Jose was like, and I remember I was like, I want water. They told me, no, let's get your fever down. And I was like, my throat was dry like a desert. Like, it was so dry. I felt like I didn't have saliva to like swallow anymore. And I was like, I can't swallow. Like, and I was getting freaked out, because I was, if I can't swallow, I feel like I'm gonna choke. And so they left, and I told Jose, give me some water. Like, there was, you know, we had cups from before, and he just gave me water, and I just drank water, because I was like, I need some liquid inside me, because I need to swallow, you know. It was that dry. So then the nurse came in. I don't know if she saw me drinking water or not, but she didn't tell me anything. But I was like, I need to drink. So she's like, you know what, we're gonna prepare you probably for C-section, because you know, the heart rate is not going down, and we want to make sure babies, you know, if she got an infection, she gets out and we treat her. And I had one too, so they start, you know, they kind of look at my stomach. I don't know what they were looking at, but they were like, okay. And they were gonna tell the doctor, and then I was like, hey, I feel something down there. I feel like something's coming out. And the nurse is like, sweetie, we just checked you, like, you know, you're 6.5, like, in a way saying there's no way you're feeling anything coming out, because nothing's coming out, because you're not dilated to a 10 yet. And I was like, yeah, I know, but I feel something there. And then she's like, okay, I'll be right back. And she left maybe for, I'm gonna say like 3 minutes or 2 minutes. And then I told Jose, there's something there. Like, I feel something coming out. Like, you know, they need to check me first. And, you know, mind you, I didn't want to have a C-section. Like, I was like, Lord, no, please. Like, I had prayed for that before, and when I heard that, I was like, no, Lord. But obviously, you know, if your baby, if that's the best for your baby, or if there's anything, you know, risky in a sense, then obviously your first instinct is your child to be safe and good. And if they have to do a C-section, then hey, then I have to do a C-section. And I was just like, Lord, you know, I didn't want this, but Lord, you know, just protect her. You know, that's what I kept saying, protect her. So she comes back in, and I'm like, can you please check me? Like, there's something there. And she just kind of said, she looked at me, she's like, you know what, that's fine, sweetie, I'll just check you, just so, you know, we can make sure. And she did, and she's like, whoa, like, you're ready to push. So I went from 6.5, like, this wasn't, I don't know, I think it was maybe no more than 10 minutes. And I know this sounds crazy, but I believe the Lord was gracious that he just allowed it to, just because they were going to do a C-section. Like, I was getting ready to get prepped for that. And she's like, we don't need to do a C-section anymore. You can actually push her out. We're going to call the doctor because he's not here, and so he can be on his way. I don't know how this happened, honestly. I think I was just, it's almost like I wasn't there, but I was. And, you know, I wasn't like drugged or anything with anything. They didn't put anything, but I don't remember this part, how I transitioned from shaking like crazy and me being freaked out to crazy pain. But in that time frame, I went from, so she told me, okay, so we're gonna call the doctor, you know, we don't need to do a C-section, you're pretty much, you know, we can start you to push, and we just need to somehow control your shaking so you could push. And I was like, okay, so in that part, transition from that to crazy pain, it just came at me, and it was bad, guys. It was painful. Like, I can't describe the pain that I felt. I can't describe how bad it was, because there's no words. And I kept saying, the epidural is not working, help me, type of thing. Like, the pain was so bad, and it just kept getting worse as time went. And it was so like close together. And I was telling Jose, like, this epidural is not working, it's not working, it's not. I remember I kept saying in the beginning, this epidural is not working. I feel everything. It was so painful. And that was just the beginning. So the nurse, you know, she gets you ready, and then they put your legs on top of that little thing, whatever the right term is, I don't know it, but you guys get me. And, you know, you're getting prepped. And I was like, the epidural is not working. And she's like, yes, it is. You know, you're probably feeling pressure. And I was like, no, I know pressure. Like, no, this is not pressure. This is pain. This is pain. This is pain. And it just got worse and worse. And I started to yell. Yes, I yelled. I don't remember what I was yelling. And I remember I was yelling, ow. I remember that. And I was probably, I don't know this because afterwards, but I was like sweating. Like, I was like sweating my face off. And I was just like, I can't do this. I told Jose, I can't. I like this stuff that I'm telling you, I was yelling it. And I was like, I can't. And I just said a lot of crazy stuff. I don't remember everything that I said. I don't, honestly, because I don't mind telling you guys. I was in pain, and it was the worst pain I ever been through. Like, I consider to have a pretty high tolerance of pain. I'm not saying like I'm super up there, but like my sister will vouch for me, like my pain level, it's pretty, like I'm pretty high, like I can handle some stuff, but that, oh guys, I need a sip of my coffee. A moment right there. That was the worst pain I have ever felt in my life. It was painful. Like I said, I just don't know how else to say it, but repeat pain all over again, like pain. And they said they called doctor, he's almost here, and I was like, well, I've been hearing that for like the longest time. When is he coming? You keep saying that he's here. And this stuff I was yelling at the poor nurse. I was like, I think she kind of knows this because she's, you know, she's a labor and delivery nurse. She's seen it all probably. And my husband just kept telling me, it's okay, it's gonna be okay, you can do this. And I just look at him like, I can't do this, like this is painful. I just waited and waited, and they had told me to push a little bit. The doctor still was in there, and they're like, good. And I was like, I was so exhausted from the pain. I was thinking to myself, how am I gonna get this energy to push a baby out when I'm super exhausted and tired? Like I feel like I have no strength because this pain is taking everything from me. So I was just like, it was so bad. I suffered so much, guys. And I always said, I feel like I'm gonna suffer more with this baby, not only because she was really big. That's one of the reasons why I was getting induced, because they didn't want her to get too big. Like, you know, during the ultrasound they kind of give you an idea of how big, and she was reaching almost like 9 pounds. So that's, I don't know if I said this before. If I didn't, that's the reason. And if I did, sorry guys, repeating, it's okay. So it was just painful, and I was like, how am I gonna push a big baby out of me and I have no strength left in me? I am, you know, all this I was thinking while I was screaming that it was bad. And I kept saying, like I said, I know I said a lot of stuff. I don't remember everything. I don't know if Jose remembers everything. Now he has his story that I scarred his hand because when I was holding on to him, which I don't really have nails, guys, but I had them maybe a little bit longer because I don't keep my nails long. I just don't like it. Like I'm short. Yeah, I know. So supposedly I gagged my nails inside his skin to the point where I left the scar. Do I remember that? No, I don't remember that at all. Like the last thing on my mind was, let me try to be careful to not like dig my nails into you. Like I just wanted it to be gone, this pain. And finally the doctor arrives, and from what they heard, one of the nurses said he lived 20 minutes away. I'm like, what? So finally he came in like it was probably 1 something in the morning, and you could kind of tell from his hair that he was probably asleep, or maybe not, maybe that's his hairstyle. Anyways, so it was my actual doctor that you know, that I had. He came in and he's like, hi guys, you know, and I'm just like, I just stared at him. I'm like, in a way, in my mind I was like, why are you so happy right now? Like I'm in pain. Get in here and take her out. And I just remember looking at him like, don't even say hi to me right now, you know. And then, okay, so finally, you know, they get him all ready. I'm like, it's painful. Like I said, I was yelling crazy stuff. Yeah, I remember at one point, it's kind of embarrassing, but I'll share this because I remember this. I remember that I'm like, I was like crying, screaming, because it was, guys, I was like, why am I going through this? I'm not Eve. I know. I remember crying for that. Yes, it's so dumb now, but I said that. Yelled it, actually. And so he gets ready, and I'm like thinking, come on, just put everything on already. You know, the nurses are just telling his thing, and it's like, come on. And I'm just like, Jose, I told him I can't do this. I can't push, I can't. And he's like, oh, you know, trying to encourage me. But with the amount of pain that I feel, and if you ever gone through a natural birth or your epidural failed like mine, you know the pain that I'm talking about. You know it. And yes, like if you think back to that time, you just want to squeeze everything because you know that was painful. It's like I said, there is no words. I'm not even exaggerating, guys. I feel like I'm not even doing it justice of how painful giving birth is. And my mom, Jose's mom, had very many kids and they didn't get an epidural. So yes, salute to all the moms out there that go natural. You are bosses. How? I don't know, because you choose it. I didn't, and it chose me, and it was bad. It was so bad. Okay, sorry, I just had to get that out there. It was just so bad. It was so bad, guys. I traumatized myself, honestly. So remember, guys, I'm having a crazy fever, infection going on. Baby seems like she got an infection because her heart rate is very high, and that's a sign of infection for us. So they're trying to get her out, but pain, I'm thinking is pain. So they start telling me push. So I push, and they're like harder, and I'm like, this is all I have. This is all. Like, I remember I felt like my veins were gonna pop out of my head because I just gave everything. And remind you, I was like so exhausted of all the pain that I felt before, and I was waiting for the doctor, and it just gets worse. It just gets so worse, and it was painful. And they were push, and then I stop, and obviously, you know, you wait for a contraction, and then you push, and it took me longer to push. I remember with Zayla, I think I did maybe I think even a little less, but 4 pushes. I think it was more than 3, and she was out. Jaylene, on the other hand, I don't know how much I pushed. I pushed a lot. Was it like an hour? I've heard that. I'm like, how do you survive? Anyways, I think it was maybe like 20 minutes, 15. I don't know. But I pushed, and she didn't come out. And they were like, yeah, she's coming. It didn't come out. Yeah, she's coming. And I remember telling the nurse, you're saying that she's coming and she's not out. What do you mean she's coming? Yes. Forgive me, nurse. Forgive me. It was so bad. I was so bad. And finally, after 20 minutes maybe of pushing and me thinking I can't do this and me giving it all I have, like everything I could, I pushed it. And just dripping in sweat, Jaylene, I feel her, like they said, okay, her head is out. You know, her head is coming, something like that. And then she's like, okay, you know, one more push, and she, you know, the whole thing, like, she's coming, she's out. And I remember I'm like, okay. And I just, somehow I'm like, Lord, give me strength because I can't anymore. And I just pushed. And I remember feeling her body, it's weird, like come outside of me. And it doesn't hurt, but it feels something not so pleasant, if I could describe it right. And you just feel it like something jiggling out, and bam. And then I remember Jose was like, wow, she's big. And I was like, oh my gosh, my baby. And I didn't hear her cry, so I'm like, wait, whoa, like, and I gave it like seconds. I'm like, wait, why is she crying? And they're like, we're just getting everything out of her. And you know, I think they wanted to see, because like I said, it showed that she had an infection also. And so they were cleaning her, and then I heard her cry, and I was like, and then, you know, then my husband, he's so sweet. He's like, you're okay, you know, you're fine. I'm like, yeah, go see baby. And you know, they were doing that, and so, and she, I believe she had fever as well, because I had a fever. I don't know, she got the infection too, so they had to take her to NICU. I know it was hard because I didn't even get her, you know, here. I barely like saw her body. I never looked at her face, because you know, they just wanted to take her to get her treated and whatever was going on. And I was just like, you know, Lord, protect her, keep her safe. And Jose, and you know, they took her, and Jose went with her, and then it's me. And then yes, those come the lovely after contractions, and my doctor trying to push whatever out, you know, your placenta. He was putting all this pressure, and I'm like, take it easy, you're a guy, you're killing me. And that part was painful too. That was painful. Did it hurt like the labor? Maybe not, but it was painful. And I was like, oh, until every time he pushed in my stomach, I was like, no, I'm done. I don't want to feel pain anymore. Like, she's out, you know. So that took a while. I did tear. I believe I had a 1-degree tear, which is, I thought I was gonna have like a 2 or maybe even 3, because how big she was. I asked about her weight, but they didn't, the thing wasn't, I don't know if it wasn't on or what, but they were like, oh, we'll let you know, because they didn't weigh her, I guess. So I had no idea, but she was big. Like, she looked like a big baby, that's for sure. So I'm like, yeah, she's probably a 8 or 9 pounder for sure. So they're doing all that, you know, taking care of her down there. And pushing on your stomach, which is so painful. And then finally all that's done with, and then finally they're like, okay, we're gonna check your bleeding, and you're there. I stayed there, I think, for 2 hours still. They were checking, and they were gonna start me on antibiotics because I had gotten an infection. I don't know if my fever had gotten down at that point, probably, I'm not sure. And then, you know, Jose came back, and he showed me pictures of her, and she did end up weighing, she did not weigh no 9 pounds. She actually ended up weighing 7 pounds and 12 ounces, and which I was like, how is she that when she looks so much bigger? But thank the Lord, right? I'm trying to push a 9-pounder, trust me. So that was that. And so yeah, guys, so then, you know, you recuperate, and obviously the baby, she did get the infection, sadly. She went in, she had to stay in the NICU. Because of the infection, she had to get, you know, she had to get treated for it. I also got treated for it. So I stayed there. I think I stayed there a day. Like, usually you're there for 24 hours if everything turns out good, but I stayed there for 48 hours, which was 2 days, so a day extra. I didn't need to stay there longer, but she needed to take the antibiotics for 10 days, so she stayed there for 10 days. I came home. I was a little sad that, you know, she had to be there and I couldn't be with her, but the important thing is that everything else was good. She was fine. It's just, you know, she got the infection, so that was the most important thing, you know, for her to get treated and for her to be good and for her to come back. And so I came back here. You know, it was, like I said, I was a little sad, but people kept telling me it's okay, you know, just rest, because when she comes, the rest is gone, and man, it's gone. So I went to see her, obviously, at the NICU, but they're actually super strict because of COVID. So, you know, you're only allowed to be there, you're only allowed to visit once a day. And if you leave the hospital, you can't come until the next day. If you stay within the hospital, you can get out of the NICU and come back in. But I obviously, because I had another daughter, I just went in. I think I spent 2 hours and a half, and then I would come back home. And she was the cutest, little chubbiest. She was chunky, this thing, and I was so in love with her. And you know, we always asked, me and Jose would go. I think he went not as much as me because of work, and he had so much stuff going on, but he would call every morning and every night, and I would go like midday. And we would always ask, you know, how's she doing? Is she okay? And they're like, she's perfect. It's just, you know, she has to take the antibiotics. Other than that, that's the only reason she's here. But she's perfect. She's doing great. She's eating like a champ. She actually eats more than she should. So she's perfect. So, you know, that gave us peace, and we prayed, and it was just good. You know, yes, would I wanted her to come have the perfect, we could say, the perfect delivery with no, with the epidural working fine, with me not feeling any pain like I did with J-Lo, my first daughter, with her coming out and having her with me in here and being, yes, of course, that's what we all hope for and want. But, you know, at the end of the day, like, her being okay and safe, and, you know, in the end of the day, her being good and healthy, that was the main thing. And obviously me. So in the end, we're grateful, and obviously she's been here for a while already. Like I said, I'm filming this a little bit later. She's 3 weeks already. She's gonna be a month in a week and a half, which time is just crazy. And she's so beautiful, and we love her, and it's just a blessing to have her. Yes, I don't sleep at night. Sometimes in my stories I look like poor girl, like, you look like you're tired. Yes, I am, but she's a blessing. Like, she's a blessing having her in Zayla. Like, there was a point where I looked at both of them, and Jose, I'm like, I feel so blessed with this family. Like, this, God allowed me to have them, and like, it just, I can't describe it. It's just beautiful. And like I said, I wish things could have been different, but in the end of the day, we're both okay. Everything came out okay. The Lord had his hands upon us in a way that I can't explain. You know, one thing that always gives me peace is when things get crazy, I have my Bible with me, which I share with you guys in the video when I showed what Jaylene had in her little backpack, but I was taking to the hospital. that Bible gives me comfort. It's the word of God. And the word of God, like, I open it up and he gives me scripture and he just gives me peace. And I'm just so grateful that I have that, you know, because when things get crazy or scary, like, I just don't know, like, what would I do if I wouldn't know Jesus, if I wouldn't have Jesus in my life. And I'm just so grateful I do. And he protected us, and you know, we're all here. And yeah, so that was pretty much my labor story. I know it was crazy and it was there, but you know, I'm sharing to you guys, like, if I'm telling a friend, like, sitting in front of me, this is how I would tell her. And it was just, you know, an experience. So I just want to kind of give an encouragement. If you're pregnant, maybe that's why you're watching this, like, just pray that everything goes good regardless of how it goes. Yes, you probably want a perfect delivery, or you have an idea of what you would like, but don't get discouraged if it doesn't go that way. At the end of the way, look at it like, if we're both healthy, and in the end, that's the most important thing. Everything else, how she comes or things that go along, yes, you know, unfortunately things happen, you know, sometimes it doesn't happen, sometimes it does, it goes perfectly. You know, I have a lot of sisters-in-laws, and they're all perfect, you know. I don't think there's been one that had a crazy experience kind of like me. So you get that too. My mom, you know, well, she had with one of my brothers, she kind of had what happened to me in a sense. The baby also got an infection, my brother. But what I'm trying to say is that it's okay, you know, as long as you're both healthy in the end and everything's okay and she could get treated for whatever it is, then, you know, that's the most important thing. Because there's so many other sad stories that things just go really, really bad. And I'm not even gonna go there, but I guess you guys get what I'm trying to say. So I just want to encourage you, like, it's okay. Focus on just bring your baby into this world and everything's gonna be okay. You know, nurses, you know, my nurses were good. We prayed for them. You know, me and my husband, I've always prayed for my nurses before, just that God would give me good nurses and all this stuff. So they were fine. Most nurses are very nice, very helpful in that time. So yes, guys. So I know this video was super long, but it's okay, right? Oh, I hope so. All right, my next video will probably be doing breastfeeding, because I had people asking me on Instagram, how's that going? So I'm gonna make a video about that and just how we've been doing, like, me emotionally, and how Zayla's doing adapting to her sister. I do have a little clip on that, but I'll insert that in that video. So yes, guys, thank you so much for all the love. I love you guys to pieces. I'm so grateful for you guys. Just thank you for being so kind on my social media, and for just, you know, for, I guess, having my back in a way. And like I said, we're moms here, let's have each other's back. And yes, so see you guys in my next video. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon, guys. Bye.